Hey everyone. This week is the 4-month anniversary of the podcast. Whether this is your first time listening or your 15th time, thank you. I appreciate my regular listeners like at Ahimsa54, at KWyatt23, and at Barack Obama, and also the listeners I don't know about. Please do rate or review this podcast. It helps a lot with our visibility. Or tell a friend about it. Thank you. Welcome to City Council Chronicles. Somewhere out there, a city council meeting is happening, and you're not watching it, but I am. I'm Michael Carlick, and you're listening to the City Council Chronicles podcast. For City Council meeting reviews, visit councilchronicles.com. Last week, I released a special episode where I traveled to Rockville, Maryland, and asked, what is the best thing about this place, and what is the worst thing about this place? Take a listen.
Everyone else around you is driven so hard to get into the good school, to get into the colleges that you want to go to. You know, the average kid sort of gets left behind, which is unfortunate.
On today's episode, we're doing something a little different. Last November, there was a presidential election. I don't know who won. But the city of Richmond, Virginia also had an election, and 4 new people got onto the city council. Now, here at City Council Chronicles HQ, we work round the clock to keep tabs on all new city council members. We have a massive subterranean vault of resumes, campaign literature, fingerprints, urine samples, blood samples. So when the Richmond City Council had its first meeting on January 9th, one of the freshmen agreed to come on the podcast to talk about it. Not once, but twice, right before the meeting and after it. Let's get to it. Kristen Nye Larson is the new councilwoman for District 4. She spent the last 4 years on the Richmond School Board. It's January 9th, 3 hours before the city council meeting. Okay, does it feel like it's the first day of school?
There's definitely a little anticipation. A lot of my questions at this point have been about what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I have served in public office for the last 4 years on the school board, but city council does things a little differently. We have an informal meeting at 4:00 and then our formal meeting at 6. So the 6:00 meeting should go really smoothly because we should crank out some of those details and work through some of the issues that you need to talk about.
Wait, so the informal meeting is in 1 hour?
Exactly.
Do you know what you're going to talk about there?
You've looked at city council agendas before, so you know that, on any given night, there's probably between like 20 and 40 things, right?
Yeah.
It's like little minutia things like, hey, move this street sign 5 feet.
Yeah, that's how it's usually written too. Item 3C, hey, move this street sign 5 feet. So is the idea of the informal meeting that you discuss everything there so that at the 6:00 meeting, it's already taken care of and it's just vote, vote, vote?
I guess I'm going to find out.
Okay, fair enough.
Related to transit is a resolution that we have on the agenda regarding just an intent to move forward in making our bus system more robust. And there's been a lot of work over the last year. There's going to be a series of meetings over the coming weeks. And so this resolution is just sort of good faith. Hey, we think this is a good idea. Yes.
Okay, so you say that the bus transit has been worked on before, has been brought up. Some council members might have seen it before. So are you worried that the older council members might say to you new people, just follow our lead on this? Okay, you just got here. We know what we're doing. So don't try to rock the boat on this.
I get the impression from the returning council members, and there's 5 of them, and then there's 4 of us newbies. They all seem really receptive. I mean, we'll see after we talk tomorrow how it actually goes.
Okay.
But the ones who I've talked to and said, hey, I have some questions about this, they've said, oh, okay, that makes sense. But you're right. There are a lot of issues out there that we're definitely going to come in the middle. And I think that transition is going to be over the next 3 months or so.
Do you already know who you need to watch out for? Like, oh, this guy's going to grandstand the entire time over here. Or, oh, that lady's not going to vote with me on anything.
I don't. There's a lot going on in Richmond right now. So we have 4 new council members. We have a new mayor, which we haven't had in 8 years. And on the school board, which I just rolled off of, there are 8 new members out of the 9 members there.
Wow.
So, and the new mayor that the city just got is 35 years old, just young, single.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Richmond right now. And I think, the folks that were elected sort of reflect, okay, I'm 42, but I would like to say I reflect the youth of the city and that sort of excitement about Richmond being a cool place to live.
Okay, well, 42 is on the upper end of the millennial age group.
I'm Gen X, technically, but I'll take it.
And now, being on the school board for 4 years, you've got procedure down, right? I mean, do you feel like you're a fortress door in there tonight? That there ain't no funny business getting past you?
The thing that is different about the council meetings than school board is that they are televised live. So that will be a little bit of an adjustment, although school board was taped and then it would be showed a couple of days later.
Oh, interesting.
You definitely have to be conscious of how you look on the camera. If somebody says something that you might think is unusual, you don't need to show unusual on your face. You just need to show, hey, that's an interesting idea.
Yep, you got to practice restraint. It's like being at the State of the Union where they cut away to the Congress, and if you're caught falling asleep, then your face is on the internet all day.
Then you could be like one of those little GIFs on Twitter, right?
Oh, wow. If you know what GIFs are, then I'm starting to think you really are a secret millennial, Kristen. Okay. Oh, boy. Now, all right, here's the thing. I don't want you to be unprepared for this meeting. And I'm not exaggerating here, but going into a city council meeting is like the jungle. You're walking along and then boom, a python comes and kills you. Or you're walking along and boom, you fall into a river and get eaten by alligators, right? So it could happen. But what I want is to give you a quiz on Robert's Rules of Order, just so we know that you're going to be on your game, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Can I get some quiz music, please? Thank you. All right. True or false? Every motion that someone makes needs to have a second.
True?
Incorrect. If there is consensus, You do not need a second.
Oh, I feel like it was a trick question.
What? There are no tricks. I'm just trying to help you survive in there, man. But, okay, we'll call that a warm-up question. You get a mulligan.
Okay.
Here's your second question. How long can one council member speak before needing permission from the council to keep speaking? A, 5 minutes, or B, 10 minutes?
5 minutes? A.
Incorrect. It's 10 minutes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. And I have seen council members talk for that long, but they never get permission to keep talking. So that's a little card you can pull out if you need to. Okay, next question. True or false? To avoid confusion, members should address each other by name in the meeting.
True.
Incorrect. And I have no idea why you're not supposed to say people's names. Maybe in case someone has a really funny sounding name. Okay, if the council wants to cut off debate early or before everyone has spoken, how do they do it? A, 2/3 decide. B, a simple majority decides. Or C, the chair decides.
A simple majority.
It's a 2/3 majority.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I need to look over my Robert's Rules of Order right now.
Well, yes, but hang on, we got one more question. Let's see how you do. Let's say the council votes on something, but afterward you want to change your vote. Who gives you permission to do that? A, no one. B, the chair. Or C, the entire council.
I would say A, no one.
Nope, it's the entire council. And I wasn't keeping score, but that didn't look good.
It's not good. I will have to brush up majorly on my Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, or you could hope that they're not vicious animals who prey on the new council members.
Right.
Now, the meeting is at 6 p.m., which is an awkward time for a meeting because you got the classic question, do I eat an early dinner at 5 o'clock, a late dinner at 8 or 9 o'clock, or do I have my food in the meeting and make everyone hate me? So what's your game plan?
So I think since we have this 4 o'clock informal meeting, that council members have time to eat between the informal and formal meeting. Yes. So it's a whole new world for me because when I was on school board, our meeting started at 6 and I never ate before. And we would usually eat around 10 o'clock and the food would be cold.
Yikes.
So I'll let you know for sure tomorrow, but that's what I think they do.
Okay. You know what you're going to eat?
They actually sent around a menu.
Wait,
So,
they're giving you food?
yes.
Do you have to pay for it?
No, it's included. They bring food in for us.
Wow. Where do I sign up to be on the Richmond City Council?
Right? So I think it's like chicken and vegetables or something. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Chicken has protein and vegetables have whatever it is that makes them healthy.
Exactly. I'll take a picture for you.
Oh, please do. I'll post it with the episode. Now, later that night, I watched the Richmond City Council meeting. Luckily, it was pretty short. The city was still digging itself out of a snowstorm, so no one showed up to public comment. But the new mayor did stop by to say hello. You can read more in my review, which is at councilchronicles.com. Okay, it's the day after the council meeting, and we're calling up Kristen.
Hello.
Councilwoman, how did it go?
Pretty good. It was did you watch it?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay. It was a pretty easy meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was short.
Right. It was 1 hour and 5 minutes. And, because it's the first day, you never know if it's going to go super long because everyone wants to give a speech and take photographs and make introductions. Or, on the other hand, it could go really speedy because there's nothing really to do yet.
Right. So in that earlier meeting, I think I told you, we have this informal meeting at 4:00.
Right.
That's where we kind of talk through the agenda. And so we continued, I don't know. It had to have been at least 75% of the stuff.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of them were requests from the administration to continue. Some of them were council requests. So I do think the next meeting, which is on the 23rd, will be a little more robust.
Okay, and just to get some lingo out there for the listeners, if the mayor's office is not ready for you to talk about an item at this week's council meeting, they ask you to continue it to the following week and talk about it then. Is that what you were doing?
Exactly. And we have a new mayor. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm sure he's trying to get caught up on things just the same way we are on council.
Right. And part of what made the meeting so short was that you did take about half a dozen votes, but they were all unanimous and there was no discussion. So what you're saying is most of the talking took place in the 4:00 meeting?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so last night there were a couple of things that may be of interest to you and your listeners.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
And, I'm sure everybody's going to watch Richmond City Council every second and fourth Monday now.
They are now. You're famous, baby.
But so one of the big issues that happened was the outgoing mayor gave the city workers bonuses at the tune of $1.9 million in December. And so that came up during our meeting last night. And
Yes, and if I may, we do have a clip from that moment. This is Councilwoman Reva Trammell, and she is leading the charge against these bonus payments that the outgoing mayor gave.
Mr. Ex-Mayor already heard us scream and hollering about our streets. And then last year he talked about we're not going to, pick up leaves. We asked the citizens to get out there and cut the grass. I guess he was sitting in his office with his feet propped up on a desk, smoking a cigar, laughing at the people that was out there cutting the grass and all that, because he knew then that he was not going to be able to run again. And he knew then that he probably was going to give those 4 people that was not going to be picked up by this new administration. So he was already thinking, how was he going to reward them? Because Mr. Ex-Mayor, in my opinion, Alan, did not have the right to do this. And how can we stop this? Because the taxpayers are mad as hell about this.
Okay, and she's calling him Mr. Ex-Mayor, like he's a comic book supervillain,
Well, she used to call him Mr. Mayor, but now it's Mr. Ex-Mayor. So, yes.
Yeah, but not calling him by name is a little bit of a dig, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, how do you think the city council dealt with the bonus issue? Do you think they should have been more aggressive in trying to stop it? Or do you think it's something that they should not have brought up on the first night?
So from the seat that I sit in, it's really 2 issues. So we have the bonuses that came out in December for the 1.9. What originally came up in our council meeting last night was the severance packages. And that was what Councilwoman Trammell was talking about also. The 4 people that got severance packages, and that totaled $166K.
Right, and these were for people who worked in Mr. X Mayor's office, and the rub of it is that the money is coming out of the new mayor's office.
Exactly. And the city finances have kind of been in disarray, let's say that. So the bonuses, the 1.9 that was, I mean, those folks have already received it in December. Our city attorney said that he did not have the authority to do that. So we have two forms of action we can do. We can take it back from the city employees, which would not be a winning thing to do, right? At least for the 9 people that would make that decision. Or we could take legal action against Mr. Ex-Mayor.
Yeah, tough choices.
But with the severance packages, I guess there was a resolution passed by city council, and that's the $166K that went to the 4 people, that was passed by city council in 2004 that allowed this. So after the meeting, I went up to Miss Trammell and Miss Gray and said, "Hey, let's work together on this." So,
oh, nice. I'm glad that's going to work out. Now, I should mention that the meeting did go smoothly, other than that one moment. And I'm not sure if you noticed this in the room, but for people watching on TV or online, when the meeting started at 6, this is what we saw.
This is Gavel to Gavel, WCVW-TV's complete coverage of Richmond City Council. Good evening once again. I'm Dick Harmon. Well, new year, new mayor, 4 new members on City Council. What will this year bring? Well, we'll just have to wait and find out. But Kristen Larson will now be in the place that was formerly occupied by Charles Samuels. Parker Angelesto keeps his same seat. And Andreas Addison will be in the seat formerly occupied by Cynthia Newbell. So that's the way the arrangements are going to be right now. And what's on the agenda for tonight? Well, 20 items on consent, 3 on the regular. But boy, there have been some changes. So let's get started. Item number 1. Ordinance 2016.
So Richmond City Council meetings have a host. And I've never seen this before. It's a Bob Barker-looking guy who comes on and tells you what's going to happen, and then afterwards he comes on and tells you what did happen. Did you see him in there?
Oh yeah. No, I met him, I think the night we were sworn in. He's a really nice guy. And I think he's been doing it for a really long time. I have not gotten the full story, but of course I've watched City Council on TV over the years. And so, yes, I've seen him many times on TV. Last night, he kind of sits over there in the press box. And so, we're busy doing other things, but I didn't realize other city councils didn't have that.
Wait, you thought other city councils had a TV host? Well, I'm actually asking seriously. Did you think...
All I know is what I know.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. No, he's tons of fun. I didn't know I got a shout out for what seat I'm in either. So
yeah, he said who all the members were and what seats they were sitting in now. And I doubt the average Richmonder would care about that, but I found it really intriguing.
Well, so this is something that's interesting too. So I was on school board and we sat in numeric order. And then
by district number.
Exactly. With the 9 districts. And then you just kind of shifted it a little depending on who was chair and vice chair.
Mm-hmm.
But with city council, they get to choose their seats. So there was like a whole seating chart that went around and then, phone calls, like what seat do you want? And I just kind of ended up where I ended up, and it's fine. But I didn't know it was such a big deal.
Okay, interesting. So for the listeners, how it's set up, is that the president and vice president sit on a high dais in the center, and right in front of that is the speaker's podium. And on either side of the speaker's podium, facing the center, are the council member desks. You've got 4 people at one desk and 3 at the other. And how do you prefer that seating arrangement where you're kind of separated to other things you could have, like all of you sitting along the same desk in a line, or each of you having a separate desk?
So I like these desks because they have a lot of room. I wish I had another council person on the other side of me and not the city attorney.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Maybe as we go along, I'll feel differently and feel like he's a big resource. But right now,
yeah.
Before, I guess when I was on school board, you know what? I didn't have somebody on the other side of me, but it's always nice to kind of compare notes with your fellow member during the meeting. If you're discussing something, sometimes you have a little side conversation about the issue or what's going on or what's coming up or something.
Yeah, well, not to stoke any council rivalries right away, but when people were calling around asking for seats, do you know if anyone said, "I'd like to sit next to Kristen Larson"?
I have no idea if anybody requested to sit next to me. I do think that some of the returning council folks wanted to stay in their seats, or I don't know, had stronger feelings about it, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. I just kind of tried to stay under the radar with that.
There is a desk in the United States Senate that has candy in it. Do you know if there's anything similar at the Richmond City Council?
Not that I know of, but I did look in my drawer last night. I did not see any candy. So if that desk is in Richmond City Council, I did not get it.
Ah, too bad. Well, I did notice that on each desk there were 2 new council members, so maybe that's what they were trying to do, is sandwich the new folks in with the more experienced ones.
Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe it was. Like I said, I tried to stay off the radar with that discussion, and I just found out what my seat was the night I showed up.
Now, Kristen, I do have a clip of a big moment. This is you making your first comments at a city council meeting. Let's listen.
You call this a life? Huh? Taking daddy's money, buying your dollies and your knickknacks, and eating his f***ing chicken, fattening up like a prize f***ing heifer.
Whoa! This is a children's podcast, ma'am. I don't know who you think you... I'm sorry, I'm being told that was from the movie Girl Interrupted. I am very sorry. We got the clip of you now. Let's play that.
I am working diligently to set up my office, so please be patient with me. My cell phone that I just got today from the city, the phone number is 804-339-8393. So please call me on that number, shoot me a text if you need anything.
Okay, that was a bold move, giving out your phone number on live TV. How many hundreds of calls have you gotten since last night?
0. And I was actually thinking that maybe something wasn't working with the phone, at least in Richmond. I think that's an expectation. And when I was first elected to public office, I definitely felt shy about it. But one thing I realized is I think people feel empowered if they just have your number. I mean, I put my personal cell phone on all my campaign materials that went to 10,000 people.
Right.
But it wasn't like my phone was ringing all night long. I think people like just knowing that it's there and they can call you if they need you. So.
I would think that the 2 kinds of calls you would get are people with problems and you're the one who, or they think that you're the one who can solve it for them. And then you have people who get your number, and especially now with the alt-right, this is a worry. They just troll you or they threaten you. And I guess I'm glad to hear that you're putting your information out there and people are not abusing it.
So we just had a snowstorm here in Richmond. So a lot of the folks that have been contacting me over the last couple of days have been, hey, my street hasn't been plowed yet.
Okay.
But I will say the new mayor and the administration have been super responsive.
Right. Several council members did have good things to say about the mayor last night. And when we talked yesterday, I know you were aware that you would be live on television or the internet, and there was a need to not make oneself look silly on camera. So were you consciously thinking about the cameras as you were sitting in the meeting?
I was okay. I just tried to, like I said yesterday, try to kind of keep that steady poker face. I think there's times you can show expression and even laugh. We had a couple funny moments. But for the most part, if somebody says something super shocking, you just kind of got to keep that inside. But we have a pretty decent Twitter following for our VA council, and they follow it and tweet about it during the meeting. So it's always interesting to go back and look at it afterwards and see what they're chatting about.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking up hashtag RVA Council on Twitter, and one person at RVA Dirt says, random thoughts, I think Kim Gray picked the best seat at the council between Parker Agelesto and Reva Trammell. So, guess you didn't get the best seat, according to at RVA Dirt on the internet.
So during our earlier meeting, I wish this had been filmed because I think you would have thought it was interesting. But behind that row of folks, so not on the side I'm sitting on, the other side is the press box. And about 2 years ago, Richmond City Council closed down the press box because there had been somebody who was running a blog who some of the city council folks and the staffers felt were threatening folks. And he also, this is Virginia, so he open carries.
Naturally, yeah.
So anyway, he's since been banned from the meetings and everything. But we had a big discussion during our earlier meeting about reopening the press box. And that discussion went on for about 15 minutes. But I just think, we want to be open. We want to have a good relationship with the press. So let's just bring them back and let them sit in the press box.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, one other loose end from yesterday that we need to tie up is that between the 4 o'clock meeting and the 6 o'clock meeting, you guys had dinner delivered, and you thought it would be chicken and vegetables. You texted me a picture of your dinner, and it is chicken with green beans, and it looks like some salad. Is that right?
Yeah. And it was hot. And we had time to sit down and eat it. So that was, it was impressive. I know not every night is going to be like that, but that happened last night.
Well, good. I'm glad they did something nice for you guys. Although I see that they served it on a paper plate, so obviously they were putting in a little less than 100%. One more question I have for you is, if you bumped into a council member from another city, what would you be curious to know about their city's council meetings?
guess I would want to know, I would say last night's meeting was efficient, but from watching them in the past, I know they're not always like that. I guess just asking for pointers about that. But yeah, how do you just make them not so short that people don't get anything out of it, but how do you make them flow smoothly, but at the same time, you're giving the public the information they need so they're aware of everything going on in the city?